This would be so much easier if we'd been given the instruction manual and that we get like billboard signs along the way to help us along.
Right.
But yeah, that's part of what we're here to do is to figure this out and experience
Navigate it all.
And the most powerful thing that we can do is understand who we are and how powerful we truly are. Once we figure that out, everything falls into place.
Hey there, beautiful souls. It's your girl, Allie. We are back at it again for another episode of Living Life Consciously. We have a very special guest lined up for you today, and I am stoked to get started. So without further ado, Justin, say hey.
Hey there, Cosmic Thrill Seekers. This is Justin, and this is Living Life Consciously, where we explore the extraordinary, ride the waves of inspiration, and embark on an adventure of limitless curiosity together.
And I'm Leslie, also known as Light Being Love, an eternal spiritual being having a temporary human experience. Happy to be here.
I love that. Hello, everyone. I'm Susan Walter. Guess I would consider myself a visionary artist and angel warrior.
Angel
Glad to have
Warrior. That sounds exciting. And for our audience, let me just give a quick intro. So, prepare to be enchanted as we dive deep into the mystical world of Susan Walter, an intuitive visionary artist and angelic warrior. Surviving near-death experiences as a child, Susan was bestowed with the extraordinary ability to peer into the angelic realms, witnessing angels in their pure light form. She uses this celestial vision to create angel portraits and convey profound messages from your angels, bringing their guidance and love into our earthly realm. Susan is also the brilliant mind behind the Solfeggio Mandala Activation Deck, a powerful tool designed to realign us with our original blueprint. Her healing heart, born deep from meditation and visions, serves as a divine conduit to help humanity recognize the divine sparks within ourselves and within one another. For Susan, art is more than just a creation, it's a spiritual journey. By merging art and sound, she creates sacred spaces and sacred art, guiding us to connect with the divine and the universe. Her mission is clear: to help others feel the divine presence and embrace their inner light. Susan, thank you so much for being here.
Oh, hey, do you want to rewrite my purpose? It was awesome.
I can send that to you in an email, no worries.
Yeah.
Where would you like to begin? Is there anywhere specific you'd like to begin?
Oh, I guess probably the best place to start would be to share what my near-death experience was like.
Okay.
And as you said earlier, I had two at the age of 4. And I remember a little more of the leading up to it from the one at 4. I remember, and you got to remember, this is 1960s,
Okay.
or mid 60s, rural Iowa.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up on a farm.
Okay.
And I remember laying on the couch and my mom had put a blanket on me, and I remember from what I was wearing, it was obviously summertime, but this blanket was just so heavy, I couldn't move it. And I was one of those kids is probably an Energizer Bunny would have been a good way to describe it.
Just keeps going and going and
Yep.
going.
Yeah, so not even being able to move a blanket, that was laying on me was, very foreign to me. But my parents had called the doctor. He actually came to the house. And it was determined very quickly that I needed to get to the hospital for some life-saving surgery.
Oh, wow.
And as my parents and the doctor were discussing which hospital I was going to go to and how I was going to get there, they were going into the next room. But yet I was following them and looking down on them. And I was a very petite little girl.
Mhm.
And my dad was like 6'2". So looking down at my dad was a whole new perspective for me.
Sure,
Wow.
sure. You're used
Okay.
to
And
looking up.
something that really kind of stuck out to me, and that's probably why I remember that part of the experience. But it was very quickly determined that, yeah, because we could go to Marshalltown, which was about 10 minutes away, or University of Iowa Hospital, which was more like an hour away. And it was determined very quickly I needed, to go to the closer hospital that
Mm.
was 10 minutes away. But almost the minute that was determined, I was gone. I did hear later from my mother, just a couple years ago, that they did even have to pull off to the side and resuscitate me on the way to the hospital
Oh,
because
geez.
and they figured that was probably because my fever was so high. Mom said it was somewhere between 104 and 105 degrees.
Jeez.
Ooh, that's a high temp for a little girl.
Yeah, who probably maybe weighed 40 pounds at the time, maybe.
Wow.
But yeah, I immediately went to, I wouldn't know how else to describe it, but like the most beautiful garden I've ever been to. There was just like wildflowers everywhere. There was like little baby animals, and it was mostly animals I was familiar with. Kind of running around, and then massive, massive trees. Um, I at the time, it was bigger than any tree I'd ever seen. I would now compare them to the redwoods in
Oh,
California.
wow. So
Wow.
ginormous, in other words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And under one of these trees were three beings I immediately recognized as being my personal angels.
Oh,
That,
wow.
Okay.
and I just knew they were like old friends.
So instant
And
recognition.
yes, I
Okay.
just knew. Um, and they pretty much just in this experience occupied my time. Um, and asked me if I wanted to see the world through the eyes of the animals. Because I was one of those kids that if there was a nest of baby mice or snakes or birds or bunnies, whatever, I would find those nests and I'd just very gently play with them and then put them back where I found them.
Okay.
Okay.
And, I grew up on a pig farm, so there were baby pigs everywhere. My grandparents and uncle just up the road had cattle. And
Okay.
we
Okay.
even had some horses too. So, so it was just animals I was familiar with, but it all seemed to be even the young ones in this experience.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
So I'm
And I
assuming
just
you said
kinda-
yes, right?
Yeah, and I just kind of went from animal to animal.
Oh, wow.
And I don't remember any of the details about waking up or anything like that. The second experience at 6, I don't remember any of the details leading up to it. Just
Okay.
all of a sudden, I'm back in the same bright, beautiful, glittering, glowing garden. And this time I had a few questions first about what I was being taught in Sunday school, because there were things that just didn't make sense to me.
Sure.
I don't really remember very many of the questions I asked. The one that sticks out was asking how long God's day was. Because it
Good
just
question.
didn't make sense to me as a little kid, that I thought of God as this, great, big, massive being.
Yeah.
And it just made sense to me that God's day was longer than ours. And I used to get in trouble in Sunday school for asking that question as well.
Mm.
Okay.
But yeah, so there was a little more discussion about some of the questions I had about Sunday school, and then again, I was invited to see the world through the eyes of the animals. But this time I went into more animals, and even animals I was not familiar with.
Oh.
Okay.
And where I'm even eventually even swimming in what felt like a massive, massive body that just moved very slowly and very gently through the water. I personally kind of think it was probably a blue whale or something of equivalent size.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was just
Um,
thinking in my head. I'm like, I'm getting whale vibes.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, I'm not swimming in the water anymore. I'm swimming in space.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I'm witnessing what almost looks like I guess you'd call it that moment of creation where there's like, it almost looked like an exhale where like a whole bunch of souls are coming out of this central light source. And then there's an inhale where some of them go back in, and then it, and this just kind of goes back and forth, this
Oh,
inhale
wow.
and exhale.
Yeah.
And
It's like the breath of earth
yeah,
or
and
Gaia.
the breath and like the breath of God,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or the creator,
A
and
creation,
whatever
like,
words
happening.
you're comfortable with. I'm sorry, Leslie.
Like
what-
breathing creation. Like, I don't know what I'm saying.
Mhm.
Yeah. Breath of
Yeah,
God.
it was really kind of cool. But and then from there, it's like I'm shown, that when I'm coming from, my soul is being birthed from this exhale, and and then I'm shown where my soul and two others are pulled aside and asked to become planet creators. Now I'm
Mm.
still trying to wrap my head around what that fully means,
Mhm.
but and then we're shown on this, like this, the best way I could describe the screen is almost kind of unrolled like a scroll would.
Okay. Okay.
But it looks kind of like our computer screens today, but even more flexible and
Okay.
thin. But yeah, and we're being shown what it would be like if we did, and what it'd be like if we didn't take on this role. The other two souls did continue on to the angelic realm from what I was shown. I obviously did not, took on this role, and then I went to, I would say school, but when we say school, we think of chairs and desks and being confined with these, chalkboards on the walls and stuff
Mhm.
like that. And it was not like that at all. It was very interactive. It was all about sound and color and frequencies and sacred geometry is the best way I could describe it. I only remember kind of glimpses of it. I remember seeing what looked like, I would have to call it a city made of gold,
Wow.
Ooh, okay.
Okay.
because it just glowed like gold does when it's shimmering in the sunshine. That's kind of
Yeah.
what it looked like. Um, I remember, and it was a lot of it was in a more of an outdoor setting, even not, it wasn't even inside. But yeah, and I remember some of the other beings in taking the same training with me. And some of them are different beings that we are very familiar with in our different religious teachings. But it's like, it wasn't just from one religion, it's like all the different ones are all there.
That makes me think of Megan Brown's NDE
Oh
story.
yeah, yeah. Where she saw
Very
everybody.
similar. Very similar. She
Really? I
had
have no
a
idea.
yeah.
And I know I'm one of those people, even until the last probably few months, I've really, and still today, I've probably only read or listened to a half a dozen other near-death experiencers.
Oh,
Wow.
really?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, and then, from taking that training, then all of a sudden, I'm waking up back in the hospital. Um, one of my grandmothers is at my bedside, and she doesn't even know I'm awake yet. And she's sitting there reading her favorite magazine, which was National Geographic.
Okay.
I had a stack of those in my room as a kid.
I love those magazines too. But and on the one she was reading, on the front of it was the Giza Plateau. And she
Okay.
realized I was awake when I asked her, where's the rest of them?
Okay.
And I think it's real interesting that here just,
Mhm.
early 2020s, I mean, actually even before that, I think it was late 20 teens, they found foundations of more temples and pyramids on the western side of the Giza Plateau.
Wow.
So
That's
you
really
asked
neat.
where are the rest of them before we discovered those. So
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Yeah, I thought I was,
That's really neat. I was wondering a couple things. Like, one, like, do you feel like your young child self the entire time and during both? And like when you were in the school portion of it, like how long was that duration, or the NDE like altogether? Like, did it feel like, how long did it feel like you were there? And did you feel like you were still 4 or 6 years old, or did you feel like not that age.
Oh, while you were having the NDE.
Good question. And I know the first one, I did kind of feel more like I was still a child.
Okay.
Okay.
The second one, I did at the beginning, but as I evolved through the whole experience, I did not.
Ah,
Mm.
okay.
It's
So,
Yeah,
like
it seemed like you had to have been a little bit more matured from a 6-year-old to be going through the schooling, I guess is what I'm.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it seems like you were probably there for a while.
Yeah, and I know, I'm sure the surgeries probably took, a few hours at least.
uh-huh.
Well, I guess with other near-death experiences, because
Yeah.
we've heard a lot of stories of different people's testimonies, but that time is different. Like they can feel like they're there for
Years even.
a year or
Yeah.
longer,
Mhm.
and it's
Yeah,
really
that
minutes or
training,
2 minutes.
yeah, that training seemed to go on, take, a consider like almost like years,
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
though time was not the same.
We've heard that
Right.
before.
Yeah,
Now,
definitely.
what about the colors in this garden? Were they the same as earth colors? Because we've heard
It's-
from a lot of near-death experiencers that the colors that they experience there are like literally indescribable. Like our Crayola color, our Crayola crayon box doesn't have these options.
Mm-mm.
Like,
Yeah, I know. I even have, like sets of colored pencils where there's, 120 colors in the set.
hmm
And it's like, it's still not all the colors, and I'm always
Really?
struggling to get the right color. And a lot of
Okay.
Wow.
times I'm having to mix colors to get what I'm seeing and but it's still, yeah. And that garden, it glowed. And there was just a life force there that, yeah, it's not anything like what we experience here in the 3D.
Something that's hanging now in my head is: did you choose to be a planet creator or not?
I was wondering that earlier. I'm like, which option did
I
she
would
fall
say
into?
yes, and that's probably why I had to go through that training.
Okay.
You did say yes. Ooh, I just got chills. I'm experiencing chills a lot during our talks.
Yeah, you do.
I do. Okay, so does that finish your story with your 2 near-death experiences?
Yeah, there's a few other tiny details I remember, but really not much. Those are the most significant parts.
Well,
Okay.
I'm super curious about the angels and that you can see angels, and I guess you could tell us more about your
Mm.
experience with that. But let me refer to my question. But when did you first start seeing the angels, and what was that experience like for you?
I started seeing my own immediately after.
Okay.
But it wasn't until 97 that I realized I was seeing everybody else's as well.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
What was that like?
Yeah.
What was that
Um,
realizing that you're seeing everybody else's angels? That must have been like mind blowing.
I noticed, at the time I was a stay-at-home mom. I had 2 teenage boys and
Okay.
2 toddlers.
Okay.
Wow.
Full house.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I wasn't interacting with a lot of people on a regular basis, and then I'm going to the grocery store, and I got so freaked out, I left the grocery cart in the middle of the aisle and went home.
We
Wow.
just heard that the other day. Who else said that? Oh my God, I'm sorry.
I feel like I can recall it as well. Anyway,
Yeah,
I'm
maybe
sorry.
I don't know.
We just spoke to somebody else who said the same thing, that they were in the store and they got super overwhelmed and they had to leave because it was just too much.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right.
Now you're remembering what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
because
Laura Van Tyne. Laura Van Tyne.
Yes, it was.
That's
yeah.
who it was.
Right.
Okay. Sorry.
I'm not familiar with her.
Synchronicity.
You know, and sometimes when I go to the store, sometimes I feel overwhelmed and like out of it. Yeah, I don't know. It's super crazy.
Especially now with all the crazy energies and things we're dealing with now, all the solar flares and
Yes, yes.
the
Yeah.
energies coming to our planet. It's just,
All right.
yeah, it
Everything
can
with
get
the
real
human
overwhelming
residents.
real fast.
Mm.
I have a personal question because I feel like you might be the go-to for angel questions. But I see a lot of floaters, and there's just a lot of weird things going on. People think
Yeah.
different things about floaters, and I'm like, what am I experiencing? And every time I experience it, Like I'm wondering if it's, spirits or even possibly angels, but it's not like lights necessarily. It's
No,
I don't know. I'm just
I
confused
see them
about
too,
them.
Leslie, all the time.
Do you?
All the time. Yeah. Like it's even to the point where if I'm like looking at the sky and it's super bright out, it's so overwhelming that I'm like having to like squint my eyes, to I
Huh.
mean the floaters, it's like super disorienting.
So do you think it's just a natural thing with the sun and or do you think it might be spiritually
Oh,
connected?
I'm not sure.
Well, what do
That's
angels appear like? How do angels appear to you when you see them? What exactly are you seeing?
Actually, I've got a couple of the drawings that I've done over the years sitting right here, just
Okay.
in case you asked.
Sure. Oh,
This is Archangel Haniel.
okay.
This is Gaia in angelic form.
Wow.
Love that one.
Mhm.
See, this one is Archangel Sandalphon.
Oh wow.
Okay. These are so
That's
gorgeous.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to have a couple here just to give you an idea because and it's like every time I see them almost, or everyone I draw, their arms are always outstretched like this. It's like for those that want to, cause it's like they're ready to exchange energy, whenever you need that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they have, holding different things, sometimes not. But what's really unique about each one is what we think of as the wings.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
I've as many as I've drawn over the last, 20 some years. I've seen similarities, but I've never seen any be exactly alike.
Okay. How many would you say you've drawn over the last several years?
To be honest, I have no idea.
Okay,
I
that
have
many?
I
A lot.
am especially, yeah, the ones that I, draw for other people when I'm drawing angel portraits for someone else. A lot of times those don't get documented.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
okay.
Oh,
Yeah, so there's a lot of work out there that I've drawn that I don't have pictures of or anything.
Okay.
Wow.
wow. You need to
Wow.
start taking pictures of your pictures.
I know the when I do them via Zoom for people,
Uh-huh.
I do take a photo of them and email it to them before, just because our mail has been weird a few times in the last few years
Yeah.
here recently.
Yeah.
So it's just been kind of my insurance policy. I've never had one not show up. Sometimes they've arrived a little late, but they did always gotten there.
Okay.
You're making portraits of people's personal angels,
Mhm.
right? Is that right?
Yeah.
So how do you connect to their angels?
Oh,
And
that's
I'm sure at a distance often, right? You're
Uh,
not.
yeah,
You're
now it's, at first it was a little more of a process, but now it's almost instant. The minute I see a person's eyes, I'm able to connect. And they don't show me everything all at once. They kind of show me things a little bit at a time.
Okay.
So
That's
first it's,
interesting that it's the eyes. It makes me think of Swedenborg. I think it's Emmanuel Swedenborg, but he says that our angels are like attached to us. And there's this video YouTube called Off the Left Eye, and it's basically all about Swedenborg's work. But
mm,
they showed our angels are like sitting in our eye, basically looking out of our eyeballs. You know what I mean? I don't know. I thought that was really interesting though. And are they in us or outside of us or attached to us? Or are you aware or do you know any of that?
I think of it as them being attached to us, because typically as far as your angels are gonna go from you, it would be if you ask them to go check on someone that you care about, or if you can have your angels talk to somebody else's angels to pass on messages.
I've done that.
Hmm.
But sometimes they might go ahead of you in your day to make sure things happen or don't happen in your best and highest good. Sometimes one might stay at home in your personal space, but
Do
Okay.
that's
you
really
do
about
they
as
do this automatically, or is this something that you have to be proactive and ask for this type of help, or is that what they do automatically? And if you want further help, you need to ask for that. Because from my understanding, you have to kind of ask for their help.
and
They're
yeah,
just
you
watching.
do need to ask for the help. They want us to ask for their help every single day doing something. because that's their purpose. So it's like you're depriving a being of their purpose if you're not asking for help. But
Uh,
yeah, as far as watching over you personally, yeah, in life saving situations, you don't need to ask for help, though I've been known to. That's another story. But it's them as far them going ahead of you or staying at home, they determine that. But there's because everybody has minimum 3 angels with them.
I was just thinking this whole time, I'm like, how many angels does each person have? Does each person have the same number? Can you request more or less? Like, how does that work?
Everybody has minimum 3, but it's like the more work you have to do, the more experiences you're here to have, the more lessons you're here to learn, the more you have with you. And then,
Oh,
and if you, and then of course, there's the people that have planetary contracts.
Okay.
okay.
They usually have at least 12.
Whoa. Okay.
But the average is probably 5 to 8.
Okay.
5 to 8.
Well, Leslie, according to Tom and AJ,
You have a legion. Jinx.
Yeah,
Yeah, we spoke with our friends, our channelers. They were speaking from source, Tom and AJ, and he informed Leslie that she had a legion of angels with her, and I was like, "Whoa, that's like more than a team. That's like a whole like entourage."
There's some of us that we have angels that assist us, but they're not necessarily our personal angels.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So there's a distinction there.
Yes.
Wow.
Okay.
I do. This might sound extreme, but I did watch something. I mean, I love angels, and I love knowing that they're here supporting us, and I just have faith that they're here with us. But so I watch things about angels, I guess, often. But somebody was saying that you could, ask for, it was a large number of angels, but I went a little extreme because I was feeling the need for some serious help. And I asked for 1,000,000 angels. I literally asked for 1,000,000 angels to help with this. But that's when Tom and AJ said that after, and I couldn't help but wonder. It was like that was them. Or if they
Oh,
were
I
just being
see.
like super supportive. Like a part of me wanted to be like, not, I don't know, want to believe that, but I don't know. I need help right now.
It's okay.
Oh, we're all going through it
I
right
was feeling
now.
emotional during that time, but I love them, and it was a
Yeah.
beautiful message. And yeah, do you see angels? How many angels do you see? How many angels do I have? Do you know? Do you feel it? Do you see them? Can you see them
Personal ones,
What's going on there?
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm muscle testing.
Oh,
Yeah, you have planetary contract, girl.
I was wondering what that even is when you said that. It really, what does that mean?
A
Hold on.
lot of it, because you're here not just for your own growth and your own journey, you're here to assist others. Gee, you're doing a podcast and sharing information.
I was just gonna say that.
I was curious about what a planetary, what'd you say? It was?
Contract.
Contract.
The contractor, yeah, you're helping others on their spiritual journey of growth.
Okay, I was thinking maybe like with the whole ascension thing. I mean, would that be like kind of the same? I mean, because I feel like I'm somehow helping with the spiritual awakening of others with my own kind of thing.
Yes.
Okay. Or who's interested anyway? Not everybody wants to hear that.
I've got a quick question. Well, it may not be quick, but what advice would you give to someone who's trying to recognize the divinity within themselves?
Oh boy, that's a good question. Even the Bible says, that each and every one of us has a spark or a piece of the God and creator within us. It's like, I kind of think of the creator as actually being the universal mind that's all of us put together. And it's like, and that isn't, restricted just to us here on earth either.
Okay.
I agree.
Wow.
How do you
I-
see your art like contributing to the awakening and the ascension process or helping humanity as a whole? Like, how do you see your art having an
Oh, that's
effect
a
on
good
it?
question.
Oh, and
Thanks.
because the angel portraits help people it gives them a tool to look at and to connect with their angels. A lot of people have actually called them portals.
Mm.
Okay.
Okay.
Um, yeah, to connect with their, the angelic frequencies and energies around them. But, the other things that I create, like the Solfeggio frequency mandalas, those are, helping us, giving us another tool to work with those frequencies, giving us a visual tool, um, to, connect with all those, because there's actually 81 different Solfeggio frequencies. Most people only realize that there's 6, but there's actually 9 sets of 9 different ones.
Wow.
Wow.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either.
Mm-mm.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, so it was an 8-year project for me to draw 81 mandalas.
Jeez, yeah.
And that was for your Oracle deck, is that right?
Yeah, just to give you an idea, like here's,
Oh yes, thank you. I
those
love show and
cards.
tell.
And that's actually frequency 432.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that the love frequency?
That's Earth
It is
frequency.
the
Earth's frequency,
frequency
right?
of metamorphosis. It helps accelerate your evolution. It's the frequency
Okay.
we should be tuning our musical instruments to.
Mhm.
Yep.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Right.
Frequency 528 is more the frequency of divine love and DNA healing.
Okay.
Ah, I see, I see.
What? I'm curious. What's 143? What's 143?
143 is an 8. It is not a solfeggio frequency. All
Oh,
the solfeggio
okay.
frequencies, when you add the numbers up,
Yeah.
they're
9.
always going to add up to 3, 6, or 9.
That's
These were the
what, yeah.
frequencies
Okay.
Nikolai Tesla used, and it's why he wouldn't even enter a building without walking around it 3
Yeah,
times.
he had to go 3 times
Mhm.
around the block.
Mhm.
And he could only go
Uh-huh.
one way.
Yeah, I've always been I've heard that, but I've never found out, is that clockwise or counterclockwise?
Yeah, I'm not sure
I
either.
remember
I think it
reading about
might
that, but
have
I
to
don't
do
remember the
partly
detail.
with what you're wanting to create. If you're wanting to create and manifest, I would think you'd be wanting to go clockwise. But if you're wanting to connect with, say, information
Yeah.
past, I would think counterclockwise. That's my thinking.
I want to say I read that he could only make right turns around the block. So that would indicate
Hmm.
clockwise.
Yeah, it would. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I might be wrong though, but
Tesla was an interesting guy, though. I really wish that his
Yes.
patents hadn't been stolen upon his death, because I feel like that was like a crime to humanity. No joke.
I agree.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because he had boxes and boxes of them that were stolen, and I know by whom, but I don't want to say the name. Begins with a T, ends with a P. Figure out the rest. Their
Mhm.
family did that, and I know that even
Well, the
Tesla's
government was involved with that too.
3-letter agencies, of course. But I know that the Nikola Tesla's family tried to sue to get that property back, but of course they didn't. So
Yeah, they were told it was destroyed. It was
yeah.
not.
destroyed.
Yeah.
Just like the church supposedly lost the solfeggio frequencies in the 1600s.
Oh, tell us about that. I don't think I knew about that one.
Yeah, they were used in the Gregorian chants up until the 1600s. Even the Stradivarius instruments were built to play the solfeggio frequencies specifically.
Or
Oh.
were the
That's
bells
why they're
connected to
so
that?
amazing. Pardon me?
Were the church bells connected to all that?
Yes.
Because the bells were
Mhm.
destroyed too. They had thousands and thousands of bells that they broke so that their resonance couldn't like create healing.
Yeah, because people were having experiences that the church couldn't control and were experiencing physical healing. And that's, the pharmaceutical industry couldn't have that.
Oh no, why would you want something natural and free to help people,
Yeah,
right? Let's pump them full of poisons that cost money instead. Woohoo! Jeez.
If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration.
Yes.
I think I
Yes.
quoted it right. Anyway.
Yeah,
I think that
you
was
did.
it. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure you got
That
that
was
one.
it.
Yes, it was a quote of Tesla's. Mhm.
So now, Susan, when you create art, can you walk us through the process of how you go through that? Because I know that you infuse, you involve sound with it and you infuse healing energies with it. So do you meditate beforehand? Can you walk us through your artistic process with how you create these wonders?
A lot of the paintings that I create, that which some of you can kind of see behind me,
Mhm.
a lot of those are inspired by things I see in meditation.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, the mandalas, those have had a slightly different process. Um, to tell you the story about how that even started for me
Sure.
was I actually one Saturday afternoon, a friend of mine, and by the way, she does not remember making this phone call to me. She
Mm.
called me and said, I see you. Yeah, and we knew each other from doing psychic fairs and metaphysical fairs together. And she said, I see you doing mandalas for people at the fairs. And I'm going, I don't see that. And I was thinking about, mandalas, how complicated some of them are.
Sure.
And then that afternoon, I'm at an antique store, so looking for a gift for my mom for Mother's Day. And I come across this old antique metal toy called the Magic Designer. And it says on the box, originally called the Hootenanny.
The Hootenanny. That sounds like a country song.
Okay.
This toy was a grandfather to the spirograph.
Wow.
Okay.
Oh, I had one of those as a kid.
I know we loved those
I
toys,
did,
didn't
I
we?
did,
Yeah.
yes.
But so I was then playing with the patterns of those, and I was already kind of a Photoshop geek.
Okay.
So I started taking this, I would scan those those patterns into the computer, and then using Photoshop, I kind of layer them. And
Ah,
the earthly solfeggio frequencies were used making, from those designs from that toy.
Okay.
okay.
And now the other 8 sets, I did use Photoshop to create the line work as because I listen to the frequency the whole time I'm creating them.
Okay.
Okay.
Using the design work, doing everything, but yeah, the designing and then the line work in Photoshop just helped me with the symmetry.
Okay. Understood.
Then I'd print that off and color it in by hand. And as I continued to listen to the frequencies, yeah, it was very common for the design to change a little bit
Mm,
as I just,
Okay.
worked with them more.
right.
Wow.
Cool process. I love knowing how that magic happens.
Yeah.
Do you
So
have a,
So
oh, go ahead.
all of your artwork is spiritually connected in some way, right?
Yes.
That's awesome.
hmm Yeah, even the piece behind me that is in what's on the easel at the moment that's in progress. That was originally a design that was I had somebody that did a magazine here in the Kansas City area where I live, and she was looking for covers design for it, and the topic that month was feng shui.
okay.
So I did a bunch of research on feng shui, and that's how that original design, came to be, which is
Nice.
that's the original drawing.
Okay. So that's what the piece behind you is
Is
aspiring to be.
Uh-huh, yeah, that's when I'm done, which will be
Okay.
in another, you know, a piece this big, 3 foot by 3 foot, is gonna take me probably another month to do.
okay.
Okay.
Wow. What's one of your favorite pieces that you've created
Oh,
and what makes it so special to you?
um, that's a tough one.
There's so
I
many,
don't
right?
know that I have one specific favorite. I
Okay,
really
which
don't.
one would you put in the top 10 then?
Top 10, the one I showed you of art of Gaia in angelic form would be in the top 10.
Okay.
Okay.
Another piece that's hanging outside my door here at my studio is a piece called Light or Color Within. And it very much looks like the Tibetan light body. And then it has the stones for each one of the chakras.
Mm,
Ooh,
Wow.
okay.
Okay.
that's neat. makes me
Yeah.
think Allie and I both posted on like a little video. Well, I make a little baby videos, but she in one of our interviews, she also put the same body with the chakras, and then I had the body with the chakras like the same day, and here this is like the
Synchronicity.
next day. You're talking about the body with the chakras. Anyway,
Mhm.
We're
I love
always
that.
having synchronistic things happen amongst us. It's like it's past being a trend at this point. It's like
Right.
Oh, that makes me think of one of my questions, if I can find that question. But oh, what advice? Well, this is a different question, but how can people recognize signs or messages from their angels in their daily lives? And also, what kind of advice would you give someone who wants to connect with their own angelic team?
As far as connecting, I would say ask them for help on a daily, if not multiple times a day. I know there have been times where, I've even struggled a little bit. And I've even had a journal where all I'd write in that journal was, notes and messages and requests to my angels.
okay.
Okay.
If that's what works for you, do what works for you. As far as them giving messages to us, they do tend to work very subtly. Numbers is one way they like to work. Um, there's one set of the solfeggio frequencies. It's actually called the angelic solfeggio frequencies.
Ooh, what
And
number
those
is
are the
that?
triple digits, when you see
Oh,
that 333, 444, all those are all angelic frequencies.
oh,
They also will
when
use
I
music.
I'm interrupting. I'm so sorry, but my maps to get to my destination for this recording right now. My arrival was 4:44 for this interview.
You
I
can't
love
make it up.
Can't.
Yeah, no, you can't, but, yeah, they do also like to use music. I know, like, for an example, things that they've done with me personally at times is like when I'm cleaning my house and I've got music playing in the background, but I'm really not paying any attention.
Hmm.
And all of a sudden, a phrase just catches my ear. A lot of times that is a message.
Okay.
Ah,
Or
okay.
when you first turn the radio on or the music on, and a lot of times that first thing you hear can be a message. Now, I'm
Okay.
not
Okay.
saying it always is,
Right. Right.
but a
Huh.
lot
Right.
of times it is.
I
I'm
feel that happens occasionally for me, and I get super excited about it because I just feel like it's a definite message.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and you
I
can
love that.
use tools like tarot decks and different things and ask them to give you messages through those tools.
We
Yeah,
have
and if you hear the same
Never thought about that.
advice from multiple people within a short period of time, but that's something you need to be listening to.
very true.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very true.
I could think of a couple examples.
Anyway, we just had this conversation last night. That's why it's kind of funny. Because I'm a little bit hard headed, and sometimes people give me advice, and I'll hear it from multiple people, and I won't listen to the advice until the 12th person says it. And I'm like, all right, fine.
Usually 3 should be enough, though.
Right.
I'll work on it. I'll work
Hey,
on
we all have shadow work, right?
Yeah.
I was in deep thought today, just about life and the experience and everything, and how we choose our lives, and including and most importantly, it seems the challenges in our lives, like the fun stuff's really not something we necessarily. We're here to do. It's school, and we're here. I don't know. So I just find myself like wondering, like trying to be strong and get through challenges, I guess, but like at the same time, at knowing and realizing like that we agree to this and this is what we're here for, but it's just hard to wrap our human minds around
Hmm.
the reality, I guess, of the whole situation. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm
This
just
would be
going.
so much easier if we'd been given the instruction manual and that we get like billboard signs along the way to help us along.
Right.
Right?
Right.
But yeah, that's part of what we're here to do is to figure this out and
Navigate
experience
it all.
it. And the most powerful thing that we can do is understand who we are
Mm.
and how powerful we truly are. Once we figure that out, everything falls into place.
Beautiful wisdom. Can you do me a favor and tell our audience where they can find you and what kind of services you offer and all that kind of stuff? Plug your plugs, please.
My website, and I just launched a new website, but is susanwalterart.com.
Okay.
So you can schedule an appointment with me to get your own angel portrait there. I do soul growth readings with the deck, or you can purchase your own deck.
Okay.
Or prints of any of those, as well as I don't have all the original artwork on the new site yet, but I'm working on that, putting a little bit more up each day.
Okay.
Is your deck and art only available through your website, or is the do you
Can
have
you?
any other I guess Amazon or
Um,
anything like that as far as your
If you're in
artwork?
the Kansas City area, I just earlier this year moved my studio outside of my house into what's called the Joe Art Center,
Oh,
which is a
congratulations.
Yeah.
brand new art center um, here in the 18th and Vine Historic Jazz District.
Okay.
They rehabbed an old school that had been literally abandoned since 1987 that was already on the historic registry.
Okay.
But they've spent almost 2 years rehabbing the school, and it's event space, gallery space, and 40 some art studio spaces.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow. I know it's
Yeah.
always like next level for an artist to get their work in a studio space. So
Yeah.
congratulations.
Mhm.
That's amazing. I hope you get a lot of exposure and revenue through doing that.
That's one of the things that they are going to do for us. And like the Joe brothers who started this, they've even done this in Chicago previously.
Okay.
And they are internationally known artists themselves.
Oh, excellent.
Wow. Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's a really cool space because I have so many other artists that, we can collaborate and bounce ideas off each other and encourage each other.
Are there a lot of
Yeah.
other spiritually driven artists like you?
Um, no, there's not. There's
Okay.
one other gal here that is much more about the energy,
Okay.
but she does these amazing portraitures, mostly of vintage photos that are just stunning.
Hmm.
Okay.
Awesome.
But we're not actually not even 100% full yet. So I'm looking forward to, we have 2 new artists moving in this week.
Oh,
And
wow.
I'm
Wow.
excited to see what they do.
Very cool. So SusanWalterArt.com is your personal website where they can find you. And is that the
Mhm.
only other place online you'd like people to go?
I am on Facebook and Instagram, and I also have a YouTube channel where I
Okay.
do Mandala Monday, where I'll kind of pull what frequency will support us through the energies of this week.
Ooh, very
I
cool.
love that.
Ooh.
I need to connect with that and make sure I get notified.
Yeah.
And
So,
I'll have the links to all of Susan's stuff in the video description box below
Mhm.
and displayed on the screen at some point. So make sure to check that out.
so I've been eyeballing a painting over your shoulder this whole time, and I'm curious to know what was the inspiration behind it and what is the meaning behind the painting. And the painting I'm talking about is the one with the Egyptians. I don't know if they're pharaohs or what, but the Egyptian
Oh,
figures.
yes.
Yes.
The one that's kind of silver and gray. Yeah, that
Yeah.
it's called the Silver Pharaohs. Because just as World War II was breaking out, there was an archaeological find where they found 2 sarcophagi of Egyptian pharaohs, and their sarcophagi were not gold, they were silver,
Wow.
which silver was much, much more rare in ancient Egypt than gold, because
Okay.
the silver mines are not in Egypt like the gold mines. But I do have written on the back the Egyptian names for the pharaohs, but some other historians and things that I've read, because I'm fascinated by history, particularly Egyptian myself.
Yeah,
You
same.
must
But
have had a past life or something there. I'm getting that vibe from you.
multiples. Yeah, but
Multiple? Wow.
it is my personal belief that that these pharaohs were actually David and Solomon.
Wow.
Oh,
That's
very
amazing.
cool connection.
Yeah.
And that goes back to the like the last part of your second NDE where you
Yeah.
saw multiple
Mhm.
pyramids in Egypt, way
Mhm.
more than we see today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's
there were
amazing.
other healing temples on the backside as well.
Amazing.
I feel like through your art and your experiences, you're bringing back like ancient knowledge to the world. So thank you for that
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I like to think that, but I'm doing the best I can.
in your own creative
Absolutely.
way.
Mhm.
All right, so I have a question that I ask of all of our guests. And that is, what is your greatest hope for the future of humanity?
My greatest hope is that we find peace, not only within ourselves, but with each other.
Mm,
Okay, awesome.
I
beautiful.
got chills.
Did you get chills again?
Forever
Yeah.
goosebumps down there. Forever
Yeah.
goosebumps. Finding peace. That's beautiful. I really hope that we can come to that at some point.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. What's your
Absolutely.
current assessment on the current state of the world and where we're at in terms of the Great Awakening and the spiritual ascension that we're all going through?
I kind of feel like we're at that spot of, it's darkest right before dawn.
Ah,
Ah,
okay.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of where I feel like we're at. So we're kind of going through those final stages of releasing the karma and going, then those dark nights of the soul. And, you
Yeah.
know, and it's, I'm looking forward to that awakening when we fully understand who we truly are and how powerful we truly are.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I feel the need to ask you what your opinion is on the potential existence. I put it in quotes because some people don't believe, but I'm a true believer. What's your thoughts on aliens? What are your thoughts on other intelligent life forms?
Not only do I believe that they exist, I've actually have had my own experiences.
Do tell, sis. Do tell.
Okay, the experience that I remember the most vividly, I was probably 9. Um, and we were still living on the farm. I know it was a Saturday night because my parents were out, and I'm the oldest, and I have a brother that's like 6 years younger than me, so he was like 2.5, 3 years old.
Okay.
So babysitter in the house to help me handle it.
Okay.
Um, and I remember, it was summertime, and I remember going upstairs and looking out my window, and it was like dusk. The sun was just starting to set. And out of the detached garage that was maybe only 50, 60 feet from the house, out walks a being out of the door that is so tall it has to duck its head to get out.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And it looked
I've got
very
chills again.
much like the grays that we see today, but take that to being, at least, 8 feet tall minimum. I'd say closer to 9, but more white.
Okay.
Hmm.
It
So-
looks very similar to the groups that they now refer to today as the tall whites.
That's what I was thinking
Wow,
in my
okay.
head. Okay, go ahead. How many were
Mhm.
there? What were they doing?
It was just the one.
Okay.
And when it walked out of the garage, it like sensed me watching it.
Okay.
And
Okay.
we just locked eyes, and I don't know how long we stood there and just stared at each other.
Wow.
Did you receive any like telepathic messages or get any downloads or have any feelings that you recall?
No, I don't remember being scared or even shocked or startled in any way
Okay.
until a few minutes later when I really started thinking about it, going, this isn't normal.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what I'm supposed to see here, but it isn't this.
Right.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
and
was
I was,
wondering what the effects of, seeing angels had on you and like the difference that was for you and your perception. So maybe just that alone helped you not be totally like freaked out by that situation because you've already like, I don't know.
Yeah, I was
I don't know.
also I was also
You're not
thinking
thinking
that
that deeply about it all at those ages either, though, I guess. So Sorry, Allie.
No, it's fine. I was also thinking in my head that in the presence of those three light beings, when she had her NDE, she was very calm and she had like an instant recognition, and there wasn't like a fight or flight response. It was very like, oh, okay, cool, this is what we're doing now. And it seems like that's the same kind of feeling you had in the presence of this ET being. How long were you guys locked in like
Something
that?
could have been happening with the lock, like some sort of he could have, or it, whatever, if gender, if there is a gender, could have been putting some sort of calming effect through that gaze.
Maybe.
That's true. But I say we stared at each other for probably close to 10 minutes.
Whoa, that's a
Wow.
long time to be in an ET presence. Okay.
And I didn't really think about it, but I know later I've had different people tell me that I used to interact with them a lot at night on the farm. And I've been starting having dreams and memories of actually like taking them by the hand and leading them around the farm and being, kind of the precocious child that I was, assuming they knew nothing about what they were looking at.
You were guiding them.
The innocence
Well,
of a
this is-
child. That's cute.
this is this, and this is the pig barn, and this is the farrowing barn, and this is, this is where the baby pigs are. And all this.
Uh-huh.
And-
Yeah.
And I remember even younger, even before the NDEs, I used to have this recurring dream that I continued to have until I was probably 10 or 11, where I'd be running around this house with multiple stories. And it's like different rooms. It would look like different houses that I'd lived in throughout my life.
Like a
Okay.
mishmash Frankenstein house of all the places you've
Yeah.
been. Okay.
And outside the house, there would be like Godzilla.
That's very
Okay.
Though
relevant
I've
to my
never seen the
childhood.
movie,
Okay.
like reaching through the windows to take and to try and get me.
Interesting.
Wow.
And sometimes it would be like King Kong too.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Wait,
it
so
was,
you were exposed to King Kong and Godzilla at the time, or you were not exposed?
no,
to
I
that?
was not. I would not have been allowed to see such movies like that at that age.
Okay.
Mhm.
Now, were you the only child that you know of that was having these experiences, or did any of your siblings also experience similar things?
To my knowledge, I am the only one.
Have you guys like talked about it, or like has that
Mm-mm.
conversation come up
No,
yet? So
okay.
maybe you're not the only one.
Maybe not.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah, it's not a topic we typically broach.
Okay. Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, I was wondering as far as like seeing angels when you were younger. I mean, of course, aliens might have been a little bit too much, but as far as the angels and the experience you had with those, did you openly speak with your family about that then, and do you now, and how did they handle that?
No, we do not speak about it openly now. I remember trying to explain to my parents what I had seen and experienced when I was a kid. And, I didn't have the vocabulary, and the term near-death experience didn't exist for another decade or so.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So probably, I think I was 7 when my dad told me to quit telling those stories.
Oh,
Wow.
So I just quit talking about it. I didn't quit seeing, I didn't quit experiencing, I just quit talking about it. And something I didn't even realize here until about 2 months ago. Up until my father passed, I would say I had a near-death experience, but I shared no details.
Hmm.
Okay.
What do they think of your artwork dealing with the angels now?
My family,
Mm-hmm.
we pretty much just don't talk about it.
Okay. I don't mean to bring
Okay.
up any sore issues. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. Yeah, my
It sounds like
daughter
that.
is who is my youngest of my 4 children. She is starting to wake up and starting to ask questions, being more curious. But my 3 sons,
Well, everybody's on their own
Maybe.
journey. And I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, you got to meet people where they're at. Sometimes people are just not ready to hear it. And if you try to impose your thoughts or feelings or beliefs on them, they just shut down and push you away. So you better
or
off
maybe
just.
it's not a part of their blueprint or a part of their plan. They got something else
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah.
some of my grandkids that, when they come to my house, they're starting to ask questions
Good.
Oh,
about my artwork. So it'll be fun to see where those conversations start going.
maybe you can open up more with the younger generation.
Yeah, because they're
Yes.
all right now all four of them are between the ages of 7 and 10.
Okay. Okay. Good
Okay.
age. Good age.
Mhm.
Well, thank
How-
you. Oh, sorry.
I did want to ask one more. How did have your abilities and experiences shaped your personal beliefs and spirituality?
I've always been wanting to explore and understand more. There was even a time when I thought about going to college just to study different religions because I love to read about different faiths and some of our, different theories about our ancient history.
Okay.
And it's influenced my whole life. And to be honest, if I had not had this experience, I'd probably still be living in a small rural community and married to a farmer.
Wow. Okay.
I love
Yeah.
everything you're
and,
doing.
And I value farmers very much. My oldest son is still a farmer, but
Yeah.
it
I
has
just wanted to
definitely
let you
changed
know
the course of my life.
you have great energy. Like I can feel your energy and just your smile and everything you do is awesome. So thank you for everything that you're doing.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very
Yeah,
much, Susan,
yeah.
for sharing your time with us and for sharing your experiences and your artwork with our audience. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. And to our audience that's still sticking around, please do us a favor and smash that like button, click subscribe, ring our little notification bell, drop a lovely comment down below, and share this video with your family and friends. Much love, peace, and namaste.